Yeah, they, will keep, even now, if when I do the contact tracing, when I send out letters with a quarantine document, it has on there that if you are vaccinated and basically asymptomatic, no fever, you do not have to quarantine. Even if you've had a positive test. No, not really. Anyway, that's beside the point. Well, it actually is the point, isn't it? Oh, excuse me for the rant at the start of the recording, guys, for any of you who might be watching this later. We were off on a different tangent and I forgot that I had hit record before I started on that. Today, I'm gonna go over a couple things, and I know y'all, I don't like having this on the screen over here any more than y'all like two of me talking to y'all. One of my ugly mugs is probably enough. You don't need two of them. But I'm about to share, first off my screen here. Let's see, because I want to talk about, boy, it's been a while since I used this thing. There we go. Share screen. Let's go to here. Okay. What I'm going to talk to you about, I told y'all that we were going to go over a little bit about this whole big event that's going to take the whole semester to put together. You need to start thinking about, well, actually the second part, the very top part on here. Can you guys even read this or not? Let's see, hang on. Is that, whoa, that helped, didn't it? Okay. This first part that you're looking at right here, disregard. This, the departmental or the department manual final draft, that's what you're going to put together at the end. And it's going to be worth 100 points. Now, note, I'm going to make these point values, they may fluctuate a little bit, but they're not going to change a bunch, okay? Your department manual draft should be, everybody in here should make 100 points, because if you turn in the pieces along the way and you listen to what I tell you about what you might want to change on them and things like that, then you should be able to just slap it all together and have it nicely packaged. And then what are we doing for our final exam? Presentation about what we put together. Okay, so we'll look at how many people we have in our class that day and make sure that, I'll set a certain amount of time. I don't expect y'all to want to talk for 30 minutes a piece, but, we'll make sure that we get them all. Well, I about just ruined everything. We'll make sure that we get everybody's presentation in during exam time. Okay. Y'all are all in the same boat. Nobody's going to be making fun of anybody. We're going to get through it. Some people like to talk, some people don't. Regardless, you're going to do it. Let's just put it that way. Okay, so the first thing that you need to start thinking about right here is this comprehensive program plan. It is your first draft. I'll look in a minute and see if I've got a date for this yet. I think I have it already on there, a date that I wanted this, and I don't think it's, I was gonna say, I don't think it's too far off actually. But what you're gonna do in this one, I mean, y'all can all come back and read this stuff just as well as I can read it to you here, but you're gonna come up with an overview of your department, your recreation therapy department. You're going, you're gonna be the manager at the CTRS and therapeutic recreation manager at Singing River Baptist Health Complex. I don't know. I just made it, whatever. I put a bunch of different places together right then that could do so many things. Anyway, name your facility. Okay, makes sense. You want to just give me a little bit of narrative type information. Give me an overview of your department, including your facility name, the vision. What do you want to do? You can look up vision statements, mission statements. don't just straight steal one off the internet or something, but look up vision statements and mission statements and think how you can make it apply to your thoughts and feelings. Now, this whole thing is about, I want you to think about what type of individuals you'd like to work with, what type of setting you'd like to be in. May it be camps, may it be substance abuse, may it be people with developmental disabilities, may it be, inpatient geriatric, whatever. Think about who you want to work with or who you would like to work with if you were going to do a recreation therapy situation where you would be in a managerial role. So, vision, mission, description of your clients. Tell me just telling me what demographic you're working with, their ages. If I was doing this about NMRC, I would have to say, 10 to 85 for that, because there's such a wide range of ages, and you may have that at your theoretical facility. The nature and severity of the disabilities that you may be dealing with. If you're working somewhere where people don't have a lot of physical disabilities, and you're talking about, you're working on the mental side, emotional side of things, make note of that. You don't have to make up a bunch of disabilities just because it's on here. I want it to be a place where you would like to work and the type of people you'd like to work with, etc. The potential for independent living for the people who are going to be there, and the goals of the agency. What are your goals? That's all. You can almost pull that from your vision and your mission. Just saying, that's not like, I'm not wanting you to put goals for your clients, okay? What are the goals of your recreation therapy program? Okay, y'all understand so far? Got that clear? Also include, now this stuff you're just gonna have to come up with and be a little bit imaginative. Tell me the demographics of the community where you're at. Where's it gonna be? Is it gonna be in a big city? Is it gonna be in a low income neighborhood? Is it gonna be, in a college town? Tell me just about the demographics. Then you're gonna tell me theoretically how many clients are served by the agency, what state and federal regulations cover the facility, like who would be kind of your watchdog to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do. If you're in, like, if it's a hospital of some sort, you're checked on by like the Joint Council of Accreditation of Hospital, the JCAHO. There's different accrediting bodies that will check behind you to make sure that you're following regulations. Who's going to do that? Is it the state? Is it a federal? Is it, would you hire your own crew to come in and do self? Because sometimes places do that, by the way. They'll hire in like surveyors to come in and say, hey, how are we doing? Give me a true answer. Just go around and watch and see how our staff are doing, see how we're treating our clients, check and make sure we're preparing food properly and we're giving out meds according to regulations. If we're messing something up, I want you to tell me, because I don't want to be in the newspaper. You know what I'm saying? Like you want, so sometimes people hire groups in to do those sort of audits to make sure you're doing what you need to do. Standards that may be out there that may impact the delivery of services. Then identify other departments that will exist in the facility. The program philosophy for the department, which is going to right up there with vision and mission, just kind of reword it and use it there. Departmental goals and objectives, same things. Those are just going to be, goals make that things that would be like, what are your long-term goals and what are some shorter term objectives? Think of it the same as if you're making objectives for patients, just make it for your facility. Got that part? Now it says goals and objectives several times in this comprehensive program thing. Don't tell me you're going to send Sarah work on her cardiovascular function. I don't want that kind of goal, okay? I want goals about your facility and your recreation therapy department that you are a manager of, okay? And then you can give me an organizational chart for the facility and the department. There's all kind of charts on like Excel and things like that where you can, remember that fancy chart we had the other day that had managers on it and it was like lower manager, middle manager, and upper manager? You could do like a hierarchy kind of, some kind of chart or table like that that tells me who's kind of on the same level, who's. Now, you must admit that there's some thought and a little bit of time that's going to go into this, right? So make note of that right now. It shouldn't take you, I mean, you could sit down on a weekend day and do this. There's no way that you couldn't, you know, or one night where you stay up a little bit and put this together. But if you want to do a good job, you need to do a little bit of research and stuff on it. So do that in time to get it turned in when the date is. We'll go ahead and talk about the program management plan real quick. It's the same thing, the first draft. Now, you've already given me the first draft of your comprehensive program, and I will give it back to you before I will receive this program management plan. And from that, you will have put all those things together, like goals and objectives and other departments and things like that. So at this point, your situation is functioning. You know your mission, you know your vision, you know who you're working with, you know where you are, all those kind of things. So now you're going to provide a quality improvement program, including guidelines for recording, you know, record documentation, client care monitoring and evaluation using clinical indicators. Like, how are you going to see whether or not, now you're talking about how are you going to see how we're doing as a department? Are we meeting goals and objectives? Are we doing all we can to help our people get what they need? How can we improve? So you're looking for quality improvement. Recreation therapist, that's not our job perhaps, but as a manager in recreation therapy, it's your job to make sure that what you're providing is the best that you can. Okay, so you do look at quality improvement. Case review, risk management. Look up risk management and see what it's about. Think about what sort of things that you need to think in terms of risk management for therapeutic recreation. If you have if you're at a facility that has an aquatics and has an outdoor pool, I want you to tell me what to do when the lightning, when lightning comes. What do you have to do? Yeah, how long? I like it. Things like that. That's, you get what I'm saying as far as needing to know risk management procedures. You know, find out some things. What are some risk management dynamics? Find out how they would fit in your recreation therapy department, your facility. It might even have to deal with some of the other places. Leave it wide open. Give me as much information as you can that is pertinent. You'll also include programs offered through your rec therapy program. Like if you have an equine, you know, horse therapy, if you have aquatics, if you have Special Olympics that are offered, if you have night recreation programs, if you have cooking classes, you know, whatever, things like that. I just named 7 or 8 different things that could be programs. Okay. Name the programs that you're going to offer. And then where it says protocols for each type of program that are offered, that's like, how do you provide them? What protocols are there for you to provide those activities? Like I say, now I don't want all of y'all sending me 100 million emails. I'm open to questions and I'm open to, you know, I don't want you wasting a bunch of time when you have a simple question that I could answer and keep you from going totally the wrong direction. However, I'm not going to feed this whole thing to you. Okay. That's the purpose of you turning in a first draft and me looking it over and giving it back and giving you some ideas. Okay. So remember that you can't screw up the first one too bad. You know what I mean? Ask me questions if you need to, But don't bug the piss out of me like every 10 minutes with a question to make sure I'm doing this right. And I'm not making fun of anybody or talking about anybody in specific, but you have to imagine that there's a lot of moving parts in both of these things that we're talking about. And it can bring up a lot of questions. Do the best you can with it. Ask me pertinent questions if it really is going to affect the direction that you go with something. Otherwise, just put it together. Let me read it. Let me tell you how a good path would be in my eyes. And you'll probably be surprised at how well you're going to do if you take the time to do a little digging on this stuff. Yeah.
So this is all gonna be on paper.
I mean,
PowerPoint of all these things.
you know what? I'm fine if you build it as a PowerPoint. If you can do that,
You
and
have to end up presenting it.
yes, you're gonna have to present it anyway. If you want to build it as a PowerPoint and you can give me all this information in PowerPoint form, it's gonna be a long butted PowerPoint.
Okay, I
Just think about how it works as you start putting it together. You know, like think back to the comprehensive program thing where I was talking about, tell me your vision, your mission. That's gonna be like a slide for each one of those. Basically, it's gonna be like vision statement.
Okay, so we do it on paper and build it like that. How would you think if we not do a PowerPoint?
I would put together a PowerPoint for your presentation probably. Or if you're comfortable enough to just stand up there and say, this is what we're gonna do. You don't have to have a PowerPoint.
So we present some idea, like is that right?
You're just explaining it to us. This is where I work. These are the people that I work with. This is where it is located. We found that these type activities work well with our patients. We were having trouble with this, so we implemented this strategy. I mean, a lot of it is thought.
So
You know,
you don't really have to.
you don't have to have a PowerPoint, but you need to know your stuff where you can present it with some. I mean, you could write bullet notes, just something to go by.
Okay.
You can build yours as a PowerPoint, absolutely. If you give me all the information I'm asking for, and you can turn it in PowerPoint form to me. 100%, that's fine. However you want to do it, okay? Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
What's your problem right now?
Oh, I'm just comfortable.
Do you need a Snickers?
All these bullet points that would, is a PowerPoint.
Yeah, I mean, it would. I'm not trying, I wasn't trying to make fun, I wasn't trying to discourage it, but I was just saying, if you really think about it, if you break down like a vision statement, a mission statement, things like that, it's gonna turn into a hellacious PowerPoint. It's gonna be long.
So that's why I said I'd rather do it on paper.
It's,
like-
I mean, you can put together a PowerPoint that squashes it all together before you do your presentation if you want a PowerPoint. But for the actual, I mean, because your presentation, you don't have to tell me. You understand what I'm saying? You're giving me all this information ahead of time, but your presentation on final night, you don't have to tell me every single thing that we have in here. I want you to tell me about your facility. I want you to tell me how it works. I want you to tell me how.
Basically, a person who will be coming to your facility, what they want to know.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. How many people work in your department? Who do you serve?
Okay, so like the presentation, I kind of picture it as if you're just visiting a website and it gives you.
Yeah, that's
a
what I
recap of
see.
everything and what the facility does.
Yeah, that's a lot of the information that you would give, absolutely.
We could do that for the presentation, final presentation.
Mm-hmm. But you need to verbalize it to us.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's gonna be a deal where you dress nice and talk to us and tell us about your place. But the information you give will be very much, like you said, a lot like if you looked up Singing River Recreation Therapy, what it would say. We are a facility based in Coffeyville, Mississippi. We serve individuals with blah, blah, blah. We have 178 patients that live here full time. We have 12 rec therapists on staff. We like, one of the things that we enjoy doing is hippotherapy, like just a whole,
Yeah.
Like you say,
outline
that's-
and all
That is a good example, actually, of how I want your presentation to be. To like, a lot like if you looked up a website and they had a damn good website that told all about who they are, who they serve, what their goal is, what their vision is. I mean, all that kind of stuff is on a good website. That's a great way to think of it, actually. How you present it is open to you, whether you make it into a PowerPoint or something to help you follow along. But that is a great, actually, y'all should all listen to that thought. It sounds like, make it sound like a good website for someone who doesn't know what Singing River Recreation is all about in Coffeyville. You know, who do they serve? What do they do? How many people are there? What's the demographics? What do the staff offer? What kind of training do the staff have? You know, what sort of stats? How many people have come and gone in the last 2 years? You know, if it's an internet, just good information, and all this stuff here is good. Like, I don't want you in your final project to, I'll get to it in a minute. Let me skip that. You're going to give me your protocols for each type of program and intervention offered. You're going to tell me the size, the information of the size and the facilities available to you, and the therapeutic recreation specific areas. You know, does your facility have an auditorium? Does the auditorium have AV to watch movies, etc.? Do you have an ample space to do a dance? Do you have a gazebo outside? Is there a pond on the premises where you can take your patients fishing or canoeing? Do you have a pond? Y'all might want to go to this YouTube and watch this again before you start working. Because I'm going through a bunch right now, but like it's going to be a lot of good ideas that you could actually pull out, like things like that. What kind of things do you have available to use? And which ones can you use? Is there a hiking trail? That's what I'm talking about. Hey, that's what I want. I want you to, hey, give them a little bit of everything. Describe your therapeutic recreation process, how it will be implemented. We've talked all about that in 372, y'all, about how, you know, that's when you get into a little bit about, as the manager, my recreation therapist will come to me with their projected goals and objectives. Once I sign off on them, they will, you know, something like that. Tell me how you're going to go about serving your patients. Now, here's a portion that I don't care one bit about you telling me about in your final presentation, okay? Choose one of the TR models from PRM 262 or SRA 262 to frame your program. You don't remember those models, do you? Look up therapeutic recreation models on Google or DuckDuckGo or whatever you use as a search engine, and just find a recreation therapy model and tell me which one you're the closest to in this paper part. You don't need to tell me in the presentation. Got it? I mean, this is just to make you kind of go back, think about models. Why do we have therapeutic recreation models? Why are they there?
An example.
Yep. An example. They are there to, what do they do for us? Save us time. They've laid the groundwork. They've tried this, you know, they had a theory and they said, this is what I think. You know, a theory is just like a broad construct, a broad set of ideas. You know, I think people benefit best from recreation when it is physical in nature. You know, so if you subscribe to that theory, all of your recreation activities are going to be active, physical, moving, things like that. That's a theory. If you go by that theory, then that's the type things you're going to get. If you think that, you know, I'm just making these up off the top of my head. If your theory about if there's a theory about recreation, that education, if it's education based and someone is learning while they are recreating, then they're more likely to stick with the program. Then tell me that. You know, it's an education based recreation program. We teach them this while we're doing activities. That's just an example. I don't care about, you don't have to put that in your final presentation, but I do want you to think about theories, why they're there, how they save us time, how they laid the groundwork, and how they are just a general directional guide. It's not a step-by-step thing, but it tells you the direction. You believe in movement. You know, you believe in education as being the strongest component. Those are like theories. Okay. Next, now this would be good to talk about things like this. Describe any adaptive techniques and assistive technologies that your facility, your multi-million-dollar facility is going to have and use. Okay. Then how you will evaluate if it was successful, and what your, you know, how you will provide quality assurance. Okay. I think that's enough for today. That's a lot on this, but I wanted to go over this stuff before we got any deeper, because I didn't want y'all getting ahead of yourself and worrying about what, and you know, I wanted to give you some guidance on that. Now let me scroll down and see if, okay, comprehensive program is supposed to be on here, due on the 23rd. That was the first one, right? Let's see if this makes sense, if I've even got them all listed on here. You never know with me. Program management plan, October 26th. They're right around the tests, it looks like so far. Not that that was by design. Personnel management, we did not talk about, but that is on the 16th of November, just prior to Thanksgiving. That'll give me time to look at that. And I've got on there, you see Thanksgiving week, I have work on budget. At least be thinking about it ahead of time. I don't expect you to spend your whole Thanksgiving week worrying about the budget portion of this. Although the budget, you know, I told y'all budget's kind of hard the first time. When now once you've got to that point in this process, you realize what kind of things you're going to have to budget for. You've named what sort of equipment you have. You've named who you serve. You've named where you are. You've named what sort of areas you have to do recreation. If you have a pool, you have to do pool maintenance stuff. If you have a lake on the premises, you need to have in your budget something for fishing equipment or canoes. You get the point. You've laid the groundwork by now to build your budget, but then that's when you're going to start thinking about your budget. Well, yeah, kinda. Make a note of things that are that you need to budget for off to the side somewhere or something would be a great idea. Not necessarily intermingled with it, but keep up with things, you know, as you put your it's either going to be a dream place or a hellhole or whatever it is. You may work at a great place or a bad place. Hers is going to be awesome, but some of y'all may not overachieve. You may be working at a small facility where you're the only recreation therapist and this is all you can offer. And this, I mean, you know, it won't be a very exciting presentation. You know, make it a little bigger than that, but you get my point. I expect y'all to be kind of all over the map with that. Budgets are going to be very different depending on population. Now, am I going to go behind you and say, man, she said she needed 14 tennis rackets and she had $48 a piece. There's no way she's going to spend $48 on a tennis racket. I'm just going to see that you told me you had tennis facilities and that you put tennis rackets. I don't care if the price is right. I want to see that you know that you have to plan ahead to have tennis equipment, balls, tennis rackets, maybe a net, you know, whatever the case may be. But be thinking about the budget, and it tells in here about the budgets. You can look up budgets, look up line item budgets, and you can find like a table, you know, dang, copy one, delete their stuff and put your stuff in it. You know what I'm saying? The items that you need once you put your facility together that you're gonna have.
With this particular thing, can we do a spreadsheet?
Yeah.
I was just about to.
Yeah, you can do a spreadsheet. That's actually where most budgets are done.
Okay.
Like Excel spreadsheet is where I did my budgets when I was at the park commission. And it makes it super easy to go back, to save, to go back to tweak the next time you're doing one. Yeah. Spreadsheets are definitely where you want to do that. And so then your budget's going to be due. Dang, I'm putting myself to work on that. You give me, I might tweak these dates just a smidge, y'all, just to make it, probably not. I can do that. Budget's due on here supposedly right now on the 30th. And let's stick with these dates for now until, unless I tell you something different, okay? Test 3 on the 2nd. We're gonna try to get through the whole book during the semester and put this together. That's our goal. I think we can do it. Y'all pretty smart. I'm real smart. I mean, I'm just kidding.
So
Uh,
the first thing you use is some of these things.
Yeah, I think it was the 23rd. Yep, comprehensive program due. That was the first thing we went over today. And the fun thing about this, y'all, is I want you to use your imagination on it. Make it what you want it to be. Don't make it something that you dread. Don't make it hard. Don't make it, think about a good recreation therapy program. Think about yourself as a manager and how you can picture it running like a well-oiled machine, and just tell me about it. If you want, and if you're really interested in horse therapy, you be sure you have horse therapy available there. If you're a big aquatic person, have you a pool, have you a lake, and be able to do kayaking and canoeing and fishing and whatever, paddle boats. Just think about it, be imaginative. That's important. That's good stuff. And I want you to use your imagination. If I was to do anything on dates, I'm gonna be honest with you. I could see, I don't think I'm gonna do this right now. Like, I could see bumping the comprehensive program part up to like the 16th. I'm just looking at this thing. And then which would take this one to the program management plan to like October 14th, something like that. I'm doing this to make sure you have ample time to fix if I do these changes. If I do, I'll send y'all out a message that has a change, okay? I'm thinking out loud right now. You'll have to excuse me. So that would move up to like the 14th. So then the next thing you would have due would go, let's just say, to November 2nd, which is another, you got a half month in between, a couple weeks to get that next part done. That would be your personnel management. And then your budget could be due like November 18th, right before Thanksgiving, okay? And then we could come back, do a little review, finish our chapters up, have a test, and I could give you back your budget like November 30th. You'd have completed, put it all together to be able to do your presentation. And I just made up my mind. I'm changing the dates by a week or two. Okay, it just makes more sense. It sucks for y'all a little bit because it's like it's going to move them up just a little bit, but you're still going to have a couple weeks for each one of these parts. It's not like I'm asking you to go crazy. You still have until, if I move that first one up from the 23rd to the 16th, you still got 2 solid weeks to do that. You can do that easily. And what that will do is you won't have to be worrying about your budget over Thanksgiving. It'll be done. you'll turn it in like the 18th, if I remember what I was saying correctly. That'll give me time to go over it, give it back to you November 30th. We'll take our last test and you'll have that whole week from the 30th until we have our final exam to fix it, put it all together. Now, y'all are gonna hand me, you're gonna do a presentation and you're gonna hand me a packet with all of this stuff. Like all the work that you did and turned in to me, I gave back, you fixed it. Give me all the fixed stuff put together, okay? Does that make sense too? I will send a updated, I'll do it through the announcements on here, which comes as an email too. I'll send an updated dates for turning in your pieces. And then I'll try to come in and redo I'll probably have to upload another syllabus if I change the dates on that. Or I can just give y'all the new dates and y'all can go by those. Is that good enough? Can y'all handle that? Now, if I do that, don't come to me and miss a date and say, well, the syllabus says, you know what I'm saying? You can't do that if I don't go through and change it. You know what? Let's quit. Let's not even go into the next chapter today. Y'all okay with that? Y'all mad? Are you sad about it or? I think we covered a lot and I think that what we covered was important. Y'all have any questions? Because I just hit y'all with a whole lot all up in the mouth right then. Okay, I'm changing the dates. Y'all have an idea. I want you to be imaginative. Put the material together however you want. Your final discussion, the night or the day of our final exam, dress nice. I want you to tell me all about it, just like you are talking to, say, maybe a family member that is thinking about sending someone in their family to your facility. And they have questions. They want to know why you're the place to be. How do you make sure you're doing a good job? What kind of people do you serve? What's this community like? You know, tell me all this kind of background. And that's going to be what I want. But I want also at that same time, I want you to hand me your full paper where you put it all together. You don't have to talk about every single thing in that, but you need to sell me that your place is either good or it's bad. You can be honest if it's not going to be a nice place. Y'all have a great day. I will see y'all Tuesday. Have a good weekend. Be safe. Y'all stay out of trouble. See ya.